like your vibe. And you felt it and you were just like, ah. Honestly, you guys, in my opinion, that's gross. Hey guys, it's mysticrainn and welcome back to my channel. And you guys seem to love these spiritual chats, so I figured we would do another one on auras. So I figured that I will use today to explain to you guys what auras are, and I will do that while I am preparing my candle for the full moon. Kill two birds with a stone, right? Two birds, one stone, yeah. So what I'm gonna do in this video is talk to you about auras, explain kind of what an aura is, and then also explain to you guys how you can start working on seeing auras in yourself and in other people. You guys kind of seem to like this format of me doing other things and then just kind of talking to you about it. So, an aura is an electromagnetic field, right? Because I think the biggest thing that I get is people are saying like, people have a tendency to think that like you are perceiving a skittle, and that's not really what it is. What you're perceiving is an electromagnetic field. Everything, and I mean everything, has an aura, right? It doesn't have to be alive. It all has an aura. The reason for this is because everything is energy. Everything you see is energy, therefore everything you see has an energetic field, right? This desk has an aura. It's going to be really, really faint, but it's going to have an energetic field around it, right? A bookshelf is going to have an aura. A cup is going to have an aura. Things that have big auras are electronic devices like a TV. TVs usually have massive auras because what you're really looking at is the energetic field around something, right? And when you have the ability to sort of tune into that and focus on it, then you will then have the ability to see colors, or at least sense the color, right? The reason for this is because colors are just a spectrum of energetic field, right? So some colors are one side of the spectrum and other colors are the other side of the spectrum, but all colors, right, is still on an energetic field. So what you're looking at or what you're perceiving is a certain frequency on an energetic field. And so what I like to do, mysticrainn from the future here. I recognize that probably didn't make any sense. Go with me on this one. And like how I like to explain it to people is that when you are in a position where you start to zone out, you'll notice that there is usually a haze around something, right? If you guys have ever kind of zoned out while watching TV, you'll usually see a kind of haze around the television. The haze around the television is actually the energetic field. All of the sort of frequencies that it's emitting off, right? It's actually making up part of the aura. If you've ever been talking to somebody and maybe or someone was talking to you is probably a better example, like a teacher or something. Like if you were ever in class, if you remember those days and you were looking at them and then you zoned off and then maybe you saw a haze around them, what you're seeing and what you're perceiving is the actual aura of the person. It's the energetic field of a person, right? Now, auras for people have ability to be really, really far, and people don't know this. It has a tendency to be about 6 feet in front of you, 6 feet behind you, and all around you, right? People usually carry big auras. When you get to a point where you learn how to control it, ideally you'll learn how to suck that energy back in. And the reason for that is if you think about yourself being really wide in terms of energy, and then you're walking down the street and people are passing you, all of those people are passing through your aura, which means they are leaving behind fragments of their energy. This is a reason to explain why you have experienced days where maybe you woke up in a really good mood and then you went somewhere or somebody was around you and then all of a sudden you're in a really bad mood, and because they were passing through your aura. It's like sweeping. It's like sweeping through a city when your energy field is out that far. You're picking up a lot of information, but you're also sending out a lot of information, and that honestly can be really exhausting, particularly when you don't actually know where you don't know where it's going, or or you don't know who's leaving energy fragments behind. And honestly, you guys, in my opinion, that's gross. I remember back when I was in magic school, and it always cracks me up to say things like this, but back in my magic school days, I remember doing exercises with other students with auras where we were able to be able to see like how far out somebody's aura goes. And you would be amazed at how it actually affects a person. It affects you predominantly emotionally, but then like also mentally. And then you'd be amazed too at the sort of like the physical effects of having energy into your energetic field. Like an example of this would be like if you were ever standing on a line facing forward and then somebody came up behind you and you felt it and you were just like, like why are they so close? And you turn around and it's not even that they're all that close, you just don't like the energy of the person. It's because they're in your aura. So either they're in your aura or their aura is so big that it has engulfed you, right? So the next question then, right, would be like, okay, Mr. Crane, I hear you. I get what you're saying, but then how do I see it? So first thing I want to say is that not everybody sees physical auras like that, right? When we are learning to see auras, we have a tendency to think that we're supposed to see it physically. And like you're gonna walk into a room and just see a whole whole bag of Skittles, and no one really explains to you that that's not how it works. Most people see auras with their mind's eye, right? Or if they can't see it with their mind's eye, they're sensing the aura, right? Or they're sensing the colors in an aura. Mr. Crane, how do you sense colors? Simple. Colors are just a manifestation of a certain energetic frequency, right? So if you are someone that has the ability to sense energy, it's not weird to sense color because color is a physical manifestation of a certain energetic frequency, right? You can train yourself to also be able to sense that energy too. And so people that read auras, that's all they're doing most of the time is sensing the color of it, right? I'll give you an example of how this works in practice. If I say to you, oh, I don't really think I like that person. They're very red, right? In your mind, you would think to yourself, red. Oh, maybe they're a bit forward, or like maybe they're a bit too honest, or maybe they're a little bit aggressive, or like when we think red, we think like power, right? Maybe someone has sort of like a powerful force that maybe rubs you the wrong way. Or it can be like, oh, I really, really like her. I don't know. She's just so pink, right? Like to you, you go, oh, like that sounds like someone would be nice. If I sense pink, if I try to recall the memory of a pink frequency, that sounds like someone would be kind of nice, right? They would be maybe kind of loving, maybe kind of nurturing or something like that. So we have the ability to sense it. We just don't know that that is what it is that we are in fact doing, that we are in fact sensing it, right? And so we already have kind of stored in our memory what each color feels like. The problem is no one has ever told you that you have the ability to sense it. And so it's never really clicked for a lot of people that you can sense color everywhere. Because color, once again, is a physical manifestation of a certain energetic frequency. And if you can feel energy, if you can sense energy, then you can sense color. If you can sense color, then you can sense aura. If you can sense aura, then you can read it, right? So I think a fun exercise for everyone's watching, assuming that you guys haven't done it yourself, I feel like probably a decent amount of you guys have, is you guys can use me as your guinea pig, because I'm going to explain to you how you can start to learn how to read auras. So the first thing you want to do is get your hand ready and get yourself a nice white background. If you can't get pure white, then I would suggest that you get like a neutral background, and then just hold your hand up and look at it. Go for the middle finger, right? Your longest finger, and then focus your attention around sort of the tips, right? The top of the hand, and then just look at it. Look at it long enough to where it kind of goes out of focus, and then just look at it. Don't concentrate, don't squint. Allow your focus and your vision to be loose and comfortable, and just look at it. What you'll notice is that you will soon start to see that haze that I was talking about grow around it, and that haze is your aura. And then once you see the haze, you're going to get excited for a minute, and then you'll lose it, right? So after that happens, calm back down, and then go back into doing that gaze until you lose focus, right? And then you'll start to see that haze form again. If you hold that focused, unfocused, you'll eventually start to see a color become to develop, right? Or you'll see colors start to sort of jump off, right? And it can be any color, but that's why it's good to use a white background, because at that point you're not influencing what it is that you're seeing. I would also suggest that you do not have any nail polish on, and that you're not wearing any sort of flashy jewelry or flashy clothing that can sort of affect what color that you think that you're actually perceiving, right? And then kind of go from there. And that's how you start to see the aura. And you can actually train yourself like that, because what you're really doing is training your ability to focus in the periphery, because a lot of energy exists in our periphery, right? So you have to kind of train your ability to focus, to be focused while unfocused, to get there quickly so you can actually read. And this same ability works for other people. So if you have a willing participant, and not everybody does, which is why I suggested that you guys actually do it that way first, I would suggest that you then ask them also kindly to sit in front of you, again, in front of a white background, and you're going to stare at their third eye. Some people suggest that you stare at their nose. I would suggest you stare here, and then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to focus there until you go unfocused, and then you're going to notice a haze start to form around them, and then you're going to get excited and you're going to lose it, right? And then after you lose it, you're going to refocus until you're unfocused again, and then soon you'll start to see color form out of that. Now, how long does this take? It changes for a lot of people. I didn't see my first aura on myself for about an hour. When I first tried it, I got excited, I lost it, and I didn't see it again for a really long time. Yeah, I'm just gonna use all of it. I didn't see it again for a really long time. And it really took me a while to. And then what I would used to do is stare at people on the train. And, you know, hindsight is 2020. I don't actually suggest that you would do that. I feel like I would be a really bad teacher by telling you to do that. I don't think you should do that. I think that's rude. Thankfully, at that time, I was living in London. They're not as crazy as, like, people are in New York. So, like, whew. But, yeah, that's probably not a great idea. You should probably always have a willing participant. Also, it's rude. It's really rude to like look at people's aura and you don't know them, because you're really reading them, and you shouldn't do that. But at that time, I was so kind of new, and I didn't really have a teacher yet, and I didn't actually know sort of like the ethics of all of this. And well, there was that. Can't beat myself up over it though. I can hold myself emotionally hostage for making a mistake. Whatever. And the aura contains an immense amount of information. Auras contain everything that is you, right? Everything from your birth to your death is contained in your aura, because it's all part of your presence. It's all part of your soul. All that energy is you. So you can actually look into somebody's aura and pull out key significant events that occurred in their life, particularly traumatic events. There is a way to look into somebody's aura and to see everything that's ever played out. It's difficult. I've done it before. I used to actually train to read that way, but then, I don't know, for me it just seems invasive, so I don't really do it, and it's actually quite complicated. But I say all that to say that that's the amount of energy that actually exists in an aura. So when you go to read somebody else's aura, try to be a little bit respectful, okay? You know, when it comes to that. Now, colors in auras. Mr. Crane, I'm reading auras and it's amazing, but I saw somebody and he looked a little purple, but I don't know what that means. So first, rule of thumb, when you're looking at an aura and you're trying to figure out what different things mean, first start with the chakra system. Most colors will coordinate to a chakra system, right? So whatever the base chakra is, which is usually red, I would actually try to coordinate with that, because that could have something to do with it. That could actually tell you a little bit about the person. You can always start there. For example, if you see red around somebody and it's by the root chakra, it's probably just a really well-developed root chakra. Right? So that's also something that you can start with. And then another way to read it is to simply go by how you feel when you look at it, right? So if you see somebody's aura and that person is a little blue, right? What kind of blue is it? Is it a light blue? Is it a dark blue? Is it a deep blue? Is it a navy blue? Does it invoke feelings? What kind of feelings does it invoke? Is it calming? What is it? How do you feel when you observe it? Use your intuition to observe it. You know, you can go online to Google aura colors and aura meanings if you want, but I find that if you're doing an aura reading, the best thing you can do is feel it, right? Because you're sensing. That's what it is. You're sensing it, right? Because again, what is color? Color is the physical manifestation of an energetic frequency. You're sensing it. So you have the ability to sense the actual color. You guys, if you would like, can actually practice on me if you want. And I suppose that there's some of you guys that are already doing that right now as I'm speaking. And tell me in the comments what you think my aura is. I'll let you guys use me as a guinea pig. And on top of that, I want you to tell me why you think it's that color. And I will give you guys yay or nays, because I actually know what my color, my aura is, and it does change from time to time, and I know why it changes from time to time. By the way, guys, your aura is not a constant color. Your aura will always change because it has to do with your internal state. A lot of your emotions can affect it. Your mental state can affect your aura. Your physical state can affect your aura. Sometimes when people are really, really sick, you'll see somebody's aura turn kind of dark and muddy or a little bit blackish depending on how severe the illness is. When somebody is sort of just like mentally compromised, like maybe a lot of mental health or whatever, sometimes the aura has a tendency to be a little bit muddy, right? All things that you will notice over time. So yeah, have a look at my aura. Tell me what color you think you see. And tell me what you sense when you see that color. How does that color make you feel? Because this is how the reading works, right? You want to talk about how that color makes you feel, why you feel like that color makes you feel a certain way. And that's how you'll know why a particular person is that color. It is also possible to be more than one color, right? Auras are beautiful. And in fact, I'm going to show you. These are my actual auras. Photos taken at different times, right? Taken in completely different years, actually. So these photos are probably 2 years apart. And so you can have, and I'm looking at them, I was actually in very different times of my life when I actually have these auras, but they are 2 years apart, also in different places in my spiritual journey. But these are some of mine. But notice in the auras how there is a bunch of colors within the color itself, right? So just to give you guys some sort of, you know, like what that means, part of your body. So on the left side of your body is what you put out. I believe I'm saying this right. I think I'm saying this right. I'm just going to go with it. So the left side of your body is what you're giving out, meaning that's what people pick up from you, right? That's the energy you give off. The right side of your body is what you're bringing in. So when I do readings for people, and I can actually see and sense energy coming in and energy going out. And when I'm looking at them, I watch from their, from their side, the energy comes in on the right and then it goes out on the left. It could just be me though. I'm not really all that sure if I'm honest, but it works for me. Hey, right? And then you also have the top part of your aura too, kind of closer to the crown chakra, right? So just kind of your world view and how you sort of perceive things. And then you've got an aura that sits in front of your throat chakra, so kind of how your communication is. And then you'll notice that, like, so as you work kind of through the chakra system, you'll notice sort of different pockets of aura, right? And that will also show you just kind of like where you are and sort of being in balance, what energies are your strong suit, what energies aren't your strong suit, and different things like that. So those are all things that you can kind of take into consideration when it comes to aura. We all read them. If you're on this video, you've already read somebody's aura. You probably just didn't see any colors to it, you know, because we all can feel it. Everybody has had a situation where they go, oh no, I just like your vibe. That's the aura. You just like somebody's energy? That's the aura, right? Like that's what you're sensing. At this point, you're just trying to see the colors because they look pretty. But sensing someone's energy and be able to read somebody's energy field is actually reading someone's aura. It's really kind of simple, you guys. So yeah, now my candle is done, so I'm going to shut up. Wait. Mystic Rain from the future again. Can you guys make sure you like, share, and subscribe? Because 76% of you all are lurkers. And also make sure you check that description box below. Hey, bye!